But I think from an actor's perspective, don't ever be afraid to ask questions. And I think people are so afraid of being a pain in the butt or being shown for their insecurity of not knowing exactly what to do yet. Hey, here's a bit of advice. None of us do.
Hi, I'm Alex DeLerma, and this is the Cinema Gym. If these videos are helping you and you want to see some more, please like, subscribe, comment. Let's keep this thing going. Cindy Robinson, you came up with this topic, translating the director. What does that mean?
It means something to me from both sides of the glass because I've been a performer and I've been a director. And when you are a performer, you start to kind of tune in to what, especially if you're in the know about what takes they're selecting, you kind of get an idea about what their ear wants. So as a performer,
this is for a voice job.
This is for a voice job,
Yeah.
right? So as a performer, you have to kind of read what the director needs from you.
Mm-hmm.
And the session goes so much more smoothly if that's clear, or if you just kind of intuitively get it. When you've worked with somebody for a long time, it's usually not a problem.
Yeah.
But you kind of adjust your performance a little bit based on what you know that director likes to hear. Now, from the other side of the glass, as a director, I am really always astounded at how much of my job is the psychology of figuring out how to talk to that actor. And so it's always been a fascinating thing because psychology fascinates me.
Yeah.
And so thinking about that and going into the booth and going, do I know this actor? Is this an actor that gets uptight if they don't do it right off the bat?
Yeah.
How far can you push?
Mm-hmm.
How far can you not push? When do you just need to let it go? And then what are the tricks that you can use to get them out of their head?
It's no different, or very similar to directing an actor for camera.
Absolutely.
Same thing.
Absolutely. And you're dealing with people who are being vulnerable in front of you and who are maybe new and don't know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Or they're doing what, some coach or teacher has taught them to do,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just, I like to call it being in your boots. Just be in your boots.
Yeah.
Be right there, be very present,
Yeah.
and have a dialogue and communicate with the director, because
Yeah.
that glass is a partition, but it's not an emotional partition.
Right.
And it's a dance.
That's interesting. In addition to the Cinema Gym acting studio, for 10 years I taught at the UCLA Extension Film Studies.
Uh-huh. Oh, great.
And so when I would work with my actors, I would explain to them that directors don't speak actor lingo, actors don't speak director lingo, and so it's important that that's why, like, we got two guys here running cameras. They both were actors in the Cinema Gym, directors in the Cinema Gym podcast. We do a cross-pollination.
Great.
And so for any actor watching us right now, you don't need to do the director's job, but it's important to figure out how they communicate. For example, often directors will communicate through cinematic examples. So did you find you run into that sometimes, that the director references projects that...
Yes, all the time.
Yeah.
The director will say, because there are some people with an absolutely encyclopedic knowledge of these cartoon characters or these game worlds or the anime or any of this stuff, because they are so heavy in the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get actors that go, I don't know that. And so you got to be very careful from the director's perspective to not shut them down because they don't know it.
Yeah.
Which is why I find it's always easier for me on both sides of it, because I'm also not one. I don't remember breakfast, much less, episode 68 of Guardian of the Spirit. I don't remember that.
Come on, Cindy. It's like episode 68 of Guardian of the Spirit. Let's go.
Moribito, now. So it's always been a thing for me to have to go, okay, I don't know that. You can give me another example.
Yeah.
But ask questions.
Yeah.
Always ask questions. And then for me, it's always been easier to say, from what emotional standpoint do I need to come?
There you go.
So that is the universal language right there.
That's big.
That is the communication between you and me. It's let's find where we stand on common ground.
Yeah.
You get the people that don't know how to explain it and then just want to line read you too.
Yes.
And if we're in a hurry, I try everything in the world as a director to not line read.
Mm-hmm.
It's a last resort. It is. And then I always cop to it and say, it's my fault. I'm not finding the right way to talk to you.
Yeah. That's good.
So, can I just give it to you because my game company has just had their budget cut and I got to get out of here in 10 minutes. So there's that sort of thing too. But I think from an actor's perspective, don't ever be afraid to ask questions. And I think people are so afraid of being a pain in the butt or being shown for their insecurity of not knowing exactly what to do yet. Hey, here's a bit of advice. None of us do. We all know the basics, hopefully, unless you're a brand newbie. And then, which has happened recently. There have been a lot of brand new people in the booth that then it's become my job to really, not only that, but hey, don't stand too far from the mic. Don't go off mic.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. But asking questions, I think people are afraid to do that for a variety of reasons.
That's a great one. That's really good. One of the tips that I would often give my actors in regard to translating direction is I call it the echo.
Right.
So, for example, if a director is trying to give you some direction, but he can't quite speak the actor vocabulary, he's looking for it. He'll often go into the background of the character and explain all that, which you probably already know. And it goes on for a while, but you have to be patient and listen and see if there is a adjustment that's related to relationship, or it's related to the emotional life of the character, or to tone, or to the need. And then grab that thing, right? Like they talk about, he's in Cleveland and, it's everything about Cleveland. It's the food, it's the sporting team, it's this and that. I think he means he's not getting my relationship with Cleveland. So then when the director's done, I say, echo back, not everything he said, just the key thing that you think he means to go, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I get this right. So you want to see more of my love for Cleveland and that relationship, like from when I was a boy? Yeah, exactly. Let's do that. Go.
Yeah.
Because just to put a postscript on it, when I trained for filmmaking, for directing, I was shocked at how little time is spent on here's how you direct performance.
Yes.
It really was more about the composition of shots, about the technology, budget. There's so much to cover. I get it. And so it's no surprise that almost every director that I ever worked with, they didn't really communicate with me the way a director from the theater did, because that's all the director in the theater has is the page and the actor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's another thing too. I mean, these days as talent, you're going to walk into the booth because budgets have become weird. And a lot of times they will say, well, we don't have the money for a director. So they don't say that out loud to us, obviously, but they send in somebody who's never done it, or who is a production assistant at the company, at the game company, or whatever. But they'll send in somebody because they don't always believe that a director is necessary. And so when you get into that situation, that as talent can also get really tricky, because now the shoe's on the other foot. Now you don't want to make this person insecure, because that's going to make your day long, really long, if they start to fire back, because you've called them out. So the echo thing is terrific. And again, a lot of people that don't direct appreciate the creativity of the talent that they've brought into the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had this happen a lot of times with directors that that were new behind the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you kind of know the project, especially, that's a great time to subtly just be able to do exactly what you're talking about with the echo. Or, hey, I have an idea. What about blah, blah, blah? Or do you think she would? And a lot of times, if you start with the do you think she would sentence,
I love that.
they've often been in the writing room. They've often been in on the script process. They've often been in on, or they may have even seen the animatic, which would be terrific, because then you've got something else to work with.
Yeah.
But do you think she would puts it back on them? They don't have to explain. If you think you've got an idea, share the idea.
You know what I love about that is that our natural tendency as a performer would be to say, I'd like to try this with this character. I want to do this.
Yeah.
So it's asking permission, but it's also sort of like making a demand. It could be interpreted that way, as
Sure.
opposed to doing it the way you did it, which is, do you think she might actually have this thing about flowers? So now it's like, I'm not smart enough to figure this out.
Right.
What do you think?
Yes.
I mean, so that's I think that's brilliant. That's
And
great.
it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
The whole thing is a collaboration between your sound engineer, your director, your talent, and your writer. Hopefully, I mean, if you're lucky, you get all four of those in the room at every session. You don't always. I personally love having the writer in the room because sometimes nobody knows the answer to it, and as a director, I can go to them and say, "Was this what you had intended, or is this what you're expecting?" Or are you expecting something different? And including the writers, they love to be included because most of the time they're just told to be quiet.
Yeah.
But as talent, the same thing. I think it's also classy for talent to go through the right channels and not go directly to the writer or the producer. Go to the director and have the director then pose the question to whomever the correct party is. It keeps things unmessy.
Yeah.
When you don't push people out of the way and say, I don't respect you anymore, because you can tell with some actors and some directors, the same thing. It's like, no, go to the director. That's the chain of command. Then let them do the communicating with everybody else, and they'll come back to you with an answer.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. I just want to wrap it up by repeating something so valuable that you said, which is when you're trying to translate a director's direction, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
I find that it's received really, really well.
Yes.
Like, oh, how refreshing. Somebody's really like telling the truth and just being honest and like, I don't understand that. Can you help me with that? Or
well, I mean,
explain
first of all, you're relieving your own anxiety.
Yeah.
By doing that,
Mm-hmm.
because you get the answer and you don't have to front. You don't have to mask and pretend
Yeah.
that, and posture and then do it wrong because you have the wrong meaning.
Yep.
That's, I always find, I like to run a really collaborative room. And, when people do pop in and go, oh, hey, that's not exactly what we were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's always like, great note.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you're interested in classes, seminars, or private coaching, you can visit the website. Hope to see you in the gym soon.
TheCinemaGym.com for virtual one-on-one coaching for camera.